This is 5.2, using linear equations in slope-intercept form. Before, we were just given the information of slope and y-intercept, and we used that slope to plug it into the equation. Now, this time, we're going to have to use that slope and the other information given to find our y-intercept value, to find our b. Once we have both of those values, then we can plug them into y equals mx plus b. Now, the way we're going to do that is by using the coordinates of a point. Let me show you how this is going to work. So we're going to write an equation of a line that passes through the point 1, 2 and has a slope of 3. Now notice the point 1, 2 is not on the y-axis. That is not my y-intercept. I need to find my y-intercept, but I know my slope is 3, so I already know part of my equation, my y equals mx plus b. I know that m is 3. I actually also know more information about this equation because I have an ordered pair that works in this equation. Ordered pairs always give you an x value and the matching y value. So the x value is the input, the y value is the output. And together those work in the equation of this line. So we can use that information where x is 1 and y is 2 to find that missing variable b. So that means 2 equals 3 plus b. Subtract 3 on both sides, and that means my value of b is -1. I now have my slope value and my y-intercept value, so I can write my equation. Now be very cautious that you do not mix up the x and y coordinate when you plug them in. It happens a lot. So let's try that again. I'm going to look for the equation of a line that passes through the point 2, 2 and has a slope of 4. In my y equals mx plus b equation, I already know that my m is 4, and in my ordered pair 2, 2, there's an x and a y value. So my y equals 2, my y value is 2, that equals 4, which is my slope, times my x coordinate of 2, and now I can solve for my y-intercept. When I do that, it's going back to solving equations like we had done before. Now I know my y-intercept is -6. So with my information, I know my slope is 4, my y-intercept is -6, and I can finish my equation, y equals 4x minus 6. This works the same way if all you are given are 2 ordered pairs, because when we have 2 ordered pairs, we can calculate the slope between them. I've got -3 minus 1 and 2 minus -2. I get a slope of -4 over 4, which is m of -1. I know part of my equation. My slope is -1, but I've got 2 ordered pairs this time. It actually doesn't matter which ordered pair you plug in. You can use either point to find the b. If I use the first ordered pair, the 2, -3, my equation would look like this. My y is -3. That equals the new slope of -1 I just found, times the x coordinate 2. When I solve this, I get a b value of -1. Now I have my slope and I have my y-intercept, so it's -1x minus 1. If you would use the other ordered pair and instead plugged in the ordered pair of -2, 1, your equation would look like this. So there's my ordered pair, and my slope equals -1. I would have 1 equals -1 times -2 plus b. So 1 equals 2 plus b, and b ends up equaling -1 again. It really does not matter which ordered pair you plug in. So we can kind of test this out again. You've got your 2 ordered pairs. We calculate the slope between them. 2 minus -13 over 4 minus -8. 15/12, which is 5/4. We have just found our slope. Now I can use that and one of the ordered pairs to find my y-intercept. I'm going to choose the easier of the two ordered pairs, and that is just fine. So my y-coordinate equals the slope I found times the x-coordinate, which is 4, and it's plus that b, and I can calculate that b now. That gives me 5 plus b, and that means b is -3. So my equation is y equals 5/4 x minus 3. And there's your final answer. I did that by finding my slope first and then plugging in one of those ordered pairs to find my y-intercept. The next checkpoint, if you want to try it, is great. You should get an answer of -3/2 x plus 1/2. Or, excuse me, rather, this answer should be minus 1/2. -3/2 x minus 1/2 would be the answer here if you want to try that on your own. So what we have are these options. Option 1, they give us all the information we need, slope and y-intercept. If they do that, we can substitute m and b in the equation and write our slope-intercept form. The other option is for them to give us slope and 1 point. If they give us slope and 1 point, we plug in the value of m and the coordinates from the point to then solve for b. Their third option is to give us 2 points. If the only information you have is 2 points, you must find the slope first, and then once you have slope, use one of the points to then plug in slope and the coordinates from that point to solve for b. Kind of goes back to example or the second part of this. So when you're reading a story problem, look, do I have slope and a point, or do I have 2 points? So a carnival charges $2.50 per ride after an entrance fee. You paid a total of $22.50 after 6 rides. Well, I see that per phrase. That means I have a slope. Now the $22.50 after 6 rides, there's my ordered pair. But I have to be very careful about my input and my output, and the secret is actually in the slope. They told you $2.50 per 1 ride. Remember, your slope is always the change in y over the change in x. That means x are the number of rides, and the output is your money. So my ordered pair is actually 6 and $22.50. So when I go to plug in my ordered pair and my slope, I have $22.50 equals my slope of 250 times 6 plus b. And now I can solve for b. 250 equals, and this would give me $15. So you've spent $15 on rides. That means the 750, well, remember your y-intercept is the starting point. In this story, our starting point is that entrance fee. So that 750 is the entrance fee. That means if they're going to ask me questions like, what's the total cost for 15 rides? That's my x value. My cost equals $2.50 times the 15 rides plus the 750 starting fee. And we can just solve for that. In this story, same question. Did we get point and slope, or did we get 2 points? For science class, you need to know the Celsius equivalent of a room temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. To estimate the Celsius equivalent, you use the facts that 32 degrees Fahrenheit is equivalent to 0 degrees Celsius, and that 212 degrees Fahrenheit is equivalent to 100 degrees Celsius. Estimate the Celsius equivalent to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm so sorry. If I'm looking at the story, I really don't see the word per or each or a ratio really that would be slope. So they must have given me 2 points in this story. And my 2 points are the 32 and 0 and the 212 and 100. The trick is knowing which one's your input and output. But if I was going to make an input-output table of Fahrenheit and Celsius, I could actually make it either way. If it doesn't matter which way it goes, it really doesn't matter how you set it up. But I know that I've got to find the answer for 70 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm going to use Fahrenheit for my x. So I've got the ordered pairs 32, 0 and 212, 100. First thing we would do is find slope. And then we would plug in slope and at least one of the points, probably the 32, 0, to find b. And here is your homework for 5.2.